Hello. Okay, so today is the live conversation with Crazy Chain about meditation and flow and how it helps with productivity. So, hi, Ami. Hi, dear manager. Hey, my girls are here. Thank you for coming to this live. So, I'll connect Crazy Chain immediately so that we start off the conversation. Feel free to use the question box to drop your questions as we are having this conversation so that we get to it. Okay, let's get right to it. So I'll be connecting Crazy Chain at the moment so that this conversation can start. Hey,
Hey Rita, good morning.
good morning.
How you
Look
doing?
at this man. This man, you want to be finer than me. What is your problem?
That's
Eh?
how life is.
This life is not fair. Eh? I'm supposed to be the beauty here.
But you're looking exceptional now. All your morning routines are working for you.
Ah. Anyway, you look good.
And you
Welcome to
too.
this conversation.
Wow. Welcome,
Um,
Roland. Imagine. People are awake. Oh.
yes, people are awake. People are awake. So I think we should get right into it.
Yeah.
We are going to be discussing meditation and flow. And I want to start off first with, as somebody who has tried meditation, still trying, because I face a lot of challenges with it. But I think in trying to understand what meditation means for a particular person, it helps with the process of easing into the activity. And there is this, I wouldn't say definition, an understanding I came across, and it
Okay.
says that meditation is the awareness of the present, the process of awareness of the present. And I think that makes sense to me, you know,
It
because in a
does.
world where we have a lot of things grappling for our attention, even within ourselves, you're always wanting to do the next thing, hop on the next thing, being present can be a problem. But I'd like to know what you think or your own understanding of meditation.
Well, I'll agree with awareness of the presence, but to just make it easier, I'll just say meditation is getting back your own attention.
Oh, now that's getting back your own attention.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. That makes sense.
Well, basically, we are living in a very complex world as it is now. And
Mm,
if we want to look at it that way, everything is always fighting for our attention. So basically,
mm,
meditation is trying to focus on exactly what you think deserves your attention at the moment. So that's the definition
mm.
I'll use.
Wow. And that's simple and yet profound. I like that as well. And in one of your posts on meditation, you said something. I wrote it down and I'm going to read it out. You said some things that I think I picked the keywords because I think those keywords are the things that really hammers on meditation, right? On the post, you said some keywords that point towards the reason why we meditate. The search for peace of mind, focusing on positive thoughts. And then, yes, it gives an idea of what we all seek to achieve when we meditate. But you went further to say that these things actually plug or stop the process of meditation or having a productive meditation? Why did you say that?
What can stop a process of having? Say that again, please.
Focusing instead of allowing.
Okay, yeah. So there are different types of meditation, and there's none of them which is bad. So the reason I said focusing on one thing is mindfulness meditation, for example, which I prefer to use, basically allows you not to judge. So when I say focusing on trying to create positive thoughts, a person can be, let's say you are meditating. I think I'll come from the place where I'll first of all say why you should actually meditate, and that will be basically based on a person's values. Just like you, someone was explaining to me when I posted that, when I made that post, and it was like, and she was like, I can't do this because I get anxiety staying alone. But basically, what meditation is supposed to do for you, or why you should actually do it, is just to clear your mind, to ease your mind, hold your own mind for what exactly it is. And yeah, the anxiety is part of it as well. So if your values align with being still or being calm, then it's something that you need. So why do I say focusing on positive thoughts? Let's say you are meditating. You sit down in silence, or whichever version you choose to go, whichever route you choose to go through. A thought comes to you, and you believe at that point that it's negative, and you're like, no, shift out. I want only positive thoughts. I want only positive thoughts. And the result of chasing after positive is actually a negative at the end of the day. So, but what is supposed to be like at the basically is wherever thought comes, it's not yours to judge. It might not even be your thoughts. Like, we try to find the definition. It might, a lot of things which you feel like are thoughts are basically borrowed thoughts. We interact every day. If you're on social media, you're growing things, so you're imitating. It's sometimes mimetic desire. So if you think that it's your thought and you're trying to fight it back, then you've shifted from clearing to creating. And then you're creating one positive thought, or you think you're creating a positive thought, and creating a positive thought, you've now created a negative feedback, because now you're chasing after positive. I hope that just explained it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And you know, this thing about when you meditate, you allow the flow of thoughts, right? It is something I'm actually gradually leaning into, because I used to be that person that would want to say, no, this thought should not come now that I'm meditating. I want this kind of thoughts to come. But over time, I've come to understand that even, and I think you alluded to it in that same post, that the mind is, the way we feel that the body is a self-cleansing, it can self-cleanse itself, you know, also can the mind. So it could also be your mind. When it's allowing those thoughts to flow, it is actually cleansing itself of all the things you have imbibed, maybe through social media, what you've heard, what you've watched, and all that. And it's quite remarkable as well, because in a place of meditation, we hold space for ourselves to not judge. And once we start saying this one is negative, this one is, I think we have already started judging and creating that negative feedback, like you said, and it kind of jeopardizes the whole process of wanting to meditate and cleanse your mind. Because I think when those thoughts are able to flow through and you're able to cleanse your mind, you're also able to, how will I put it now? Think. Actually think. Or actually know which thoughts are yours and which is not. So, yeah. Then I would want us to quickly get into the forms of meditation, because you also said that there are many forms of meditation. And I know from research that not every meditation is for everybody. I mean, at some point you get to find out, you know. For me, sitting still can be a problem. And not because of anxiety, but because that fact of sitting still and not doing anything. It can be very, very hard. But I've noticed that with yoga, it's easy for me because it's a movement kind of meditation. And so while I move, I'm able to, I don't know how it happens, but I'm able to tap into my consciousness, you know, even while the movement is going. So for me, yoga works best, followed by sitting still, even though for sitting still, I'm still trying to, because I can sit still to at a point and then I can't anymore, you know, which is something I feel also, you know, it comes with practice. But then my orientation of meditation when I started out, I felt it was only the spiritual aspect, you know, also coming from a Christian background and just meditating on the word from the Bible, you know, scriptural meditation. I felt like that was the only form of meditation there is. But it's quite interesting that there are other forms of meditation that has nothing, even gardening as well, that has nothing to do with spirituality, and yet you're able to get, I don't want to use the word balance because I know, but you're able to be in that state of, yeah, I know what we are going to come to that, but like being in that state of awareness of the present or getting my attention. So what forms of meditation works for you?
Okay, so to point out something, I think you made the last statement before getting here. My new modern day philosopher Naval said something really profound, which I think is great to share. So he says that what we seek is not actually peace of mind, but peace from your mind.
Okay.
So we are basically trying to reduce the noise, the chatter in our heads, because you can't leave your mind behind, but you can reduce the chatter inside it. For the forms of meditation, just like everything else, it's always best to pick what flows for you. There is movement, there is mindfulness, there is yoga, there's walking. I mean, there's focus, like breathing meditation. I think that most times we get into a lot of parts of the day where we can actually just focus on one thing at the point, and that also helps clear the mind. It doesn't necessarily have to mean sitting in one spot. Although I did say that for me, mindfulness is good. For someone like me, I try a lot of other forms of meditation during the day aside from sitting. Walking for me is meditation, like long walking.
Yes.
And no phones and the rest of it, which is part of movement meditation. But the main thing is, I think, is being able to observe. I think that's what meditation is. It's an observation of what is going on in your mind. So it's almost like there's this chatter in our heads, but we all feel it. We know that at some point of our other consciousness, we can see this chatter in our heads going on. So where this chatter is going on from, that's our point of observation, like what's really going on in my head. And then, I mean, in the beginning, it's always louder because now you're just looking at it. And
yes,
when that loudness comes, it's frightening. It's always frightening for in the first time. So yeah, the various forms of it, we can't teach anybody how to, like, say, like me, for everything which is positive to the individual or which helps the individual improve, it's something you have to seek out for yourself. So we can't teach
Yeah.
you, oh, this is the best form to meditate, but we can just say, yeah, these are the frameworks which exist, and then you can follow through either of these ones, and anyone that works for you best, you should stay there, get into that flow. It works for you, so why try something else someone else is trying?
Yeah. Yeah. Someone like me will want to try for the sake of trying new things. And
It's good to
for someone
actually
like me
explore
also
some
who gets
concept, but
bored easily, when I master something, I tend to have this boredom that comes with mastery. And then I'm like, okay, are there other forms or ways to do this differently? So yeah, but I get your point. And then I think before we end this conversation, I would also want us to touch on not just the benefits, but the the how to ease into the flow of meditation.
yeah, I knew we were getting there when you said mastery. So
Yes.
mastery, I mean, my definition of mastery is actually boredom. At the point where you get bored with something, you've mastered it. So this is where we'll start talking of the law of compounding, which is basically natural law for everything. So it's
Yeah.
like what is really compounding? It's basically stacking things on top of the other. So for people who are new to certain things, this includes exercise, this includes in fact habit building. Compounding
Habit
is the
building.
best.
Yes.
It's definitely the best way to go. How then do we go about it? Let's say anything you're about to start, your body or your mind starts resisting. It's a new thing.
Mm,
It's a new change. That resistance is basically what we call ego.
mm.
At the point of resistance, it makes you not even want to get into it. For someone who feels like, oh yeah, I'll have anxiety if I sit down alone. It's basically that ego. It's the resistance. It finds
Yes.
the worst possible things that it thinks can happen. Like,
Happen. Yeah.
really want to watch your mind. Like, you know what is going on in your mind. What if you think about something that happened in your childhood? Some trauma, something. That's that ego. That's that resistance. The best form to then go about it is, I mean, if you really most of the schools of thought say if you actually want to achieve a full-scale meditation, like 15 minutes, 30, some say it's 1 hour. I like the 1 hour part as well, because at that point you get to where you're basically clear. It doesn't happen every day. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Some
Yeah. It
days it's just
doesn't.
it's chaotic in your head. But with compounding, one wants to start a new habit, say for people who are getting into it, you know the point of resistance for your mind. Say you start with
Mm,
3 minutes. At the point of 3 minutes, that's where, if that's where your mind starts to resist, it's okay to pause. So basically, sorry, what compounding does for you, or where mastery, including mastery, is basically iterating on what you already have. So we start with 3 minutes. You set a goal that for 30 days, I'm going to be meditating for 3 minutes only. The next day, you add an extra 1 minute. Sorry, I think I like visuals. So the next day, you start with 1 minute. This is three, but starting on a basis of say 3 minutes, and then our goal is to meditate for 30 days. Now it's different when you say, I'm going to start meditating tomorrow, and then you give yourself an actual framework, like in 30 days, this is what I want to achieve. So how resistance works for our heads is, in 3 minutes, the first time, once I get to this first point, my body is resisting, or my mind rather, starts resisting. But what it does is, it's now new to this. It has accepted that this is going to be a constant occurrence. So after we've done
yes.
this like 2 times, it accepts this is now going to be a constant. So the part where our minds function well and our bodies function well is, the next time you're about to meditate, it knows this person is about to sit down for 3 minutes again, which is going to make us anxious. So it overcompensates enough for you to be able to now projects for 5 minutes or 4 or 6 minutes. You now get to the point where you don't feel that anxiety. You get bored because you've mastered it. Now your mind has mastered 3 minutes. So what do? You do 3 minutes. You know you've gotten to a point where, 3 minutes is unboring. Now this is compounding. You're now stuck on it. You add 1 extra minute. Now you find that for 4 minutes, not 3 minutes again. You add 1 extra minute. So you've added on top of this. So now minutes. No longer 3. But we started with 3 minutes, the easiest possible part of resistance.
Yes.
We didn't go for the entire 15, 30 minutes. Well, at this point, it's going to be we're going to sleep off, or just if that fright comes, how to get back into it. Compounding is, why do we put a number of days? 3 minutes is too small. But when you look at 3 minutes over 30 days, you find that you've meditated for a long time. Now, a lot of things, what we seek in this type of things is, we say we don't have discipline to go through the entire 9 yards. And so the etymology, or rather the root word of the word discipline, it basically says disciple.
Yeah.
And what disciple, the synonyms for disciple is follow, learner. So it's supposed to be
learner is that's the most important for me. The learner word. Yeah.
So it's supposed to be a continuous learning state. So let's say if you feel like you've gotten bored at 3 minutes, you gain mastery of 3 minutes. What a disciple does, or what discipline means is, you add 1 more. So it's still basically compounding. So the 1 minute you've added of it is still you learning how to get into 4 minutes. So you started afresh. You're not basically a new learner, but you've now become a disciple of what you think you know, and then that starts. So it's a learning phase. I feel like I think that there's basically no end to learning. So at the point where you feel like you have mastered everything here, add 1 extra part on top of it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have a question here, and I think we should take it before we go. It's from Amiji. It says, what should I do about the restlessness I experience while meditating?
Oh, yes. So, so this tells me that, welcome. You just joined it. So, restlessness, this is it. I value, so I think it's what you value. And then meditation is the practice of what you value. So it's a principle. The principle is this: if you meditate, you will be calm. So what that answers is, if you are restless, you'll be peaceful. So meditating is an action which has a consequence. And it comes from, I value this stillness. Okay, so I'm always restless, but I value stillness. So the act of meditating, which has this consequence, if I do this is my consequence. Now, principles are natural law. They do not care about anybody. It's like gravity. You drop a stone, it's basically going to fall. That's how it happens. So this is where we talk about compounding. The restlessness that's the ego. Before you even start, your body is telling you, we're going to be restless. don't bother about this thing.
What's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? That's your point of resistance. So the point of less resistance is, I mean, you know that if you do this thing for 5 minutes, you're telling you as 5 minutes, this resistance is going. So start with 4 minutes. That's how you deal with the restlessness. For 4 minutes. Restlessness comes, it's fine. Your alarm goes off, you stop. Now your mind overcompensates for the next time you're going to sleep, because now you've gotten into it. You've broken that resistance. It's like, we must do this. This is the
sorry. I also feel like, I also think that while restlessness is seen as that, thing that is distracting to us, right? I think it's also a way of, it's also that internal awareness that you are about to.
It tells you you're doing something right.
Yes, that's one way. And then I think also what comes into,
you're doing it
right. then your mind comes into the way, the mindset of wanting to attain stillness immediately. Because like you have said, it's a process of learning how to allow your mind cleanse itself. And so even while stillness is the goal at some point, the process of attaining stillness allows for restlessness.
True.
Well
put. I mean, I'm not going to add it.
So invariably, I wouldn't consider restlessness as a negative feedback when it comes to meditation.
It's
but like
positive.
That process of, yes, it's actually a positive feedback that says that, yes, your body is undergoing a transformation and an awareness that it may not yet have understood, but it's happening. So I think that also will help. So last words before we go. Meditation, why is it important for productivity? Now, outside the whole sitting still and being calm, how does it affect our life productively?
Well, basically, if you want your turn and you want your focus, even in daily life, you want to slow down your reactions, then it's important for you. So if you value any of these things, then that's important. I want to be productive, mentally focus, and I don't want all the chattering monkeys to tell me to mind this at the same time. So that's basically it. I want to be more focused, so I have to. It's still based on the principles.
I think it also helps with easing into flow.
More focused.
Oh, okay.
Meditation is the way for me to go. And I think one other sentence I think I want to add is if you've seen magic happen, even in Harry Potter, so transformation is basically a very slow. Yes, it's a very slow magic is. So transformation. Even if we were watching, let's say, and you go espiritus ratus. I mean, in our eyes, it's a fact. Let's slow it down. We transform, say, a human from to a. Let's not don't do that. It's it's a very slow process. It's a transformation. Now it's energy flowing. You're first of all knowing that the spirit is going to transform, the skeleton is going to enter into resistance. So at the end of the day, before you get on, now the end goal is the rat, but the process is that part, and that process is usually painful in the beginning. I mean, imagine a skeleton changing its vertebrae from what it's restlessness. It doesn't. You don't get the eureka moment at one go.
I just remembered something in chemistry class. You know, when
it's a slow
you
process
add
that
two
happens
chemicals
every day.
together,
So yeah,
you know, that bubbling effect that happens before, you know, and the whole. So
yes,
it's also a form of restlessness
and the thermic
that brings
chemical
about the
reaction.
change.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Thank you
yes,
so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much. And
I
I
did
hope
as
to
well.
have many
We
more.
couldn't even get
Yes.
time to discuss flow, but I mean,
Yes, we'll have that in another, because I feel like meshing it
do
with
this at a longer
meditation now.
time.
We might
We
not do a service to it. So
exceeded our
yes.
time today.
So yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys for helping and supporting and putting in your inputs.
Both our first time
Amiji, thank you
on
so
IG Night
much.
on not
Zanak,
like
thank you for your inputs and response. The storyteller, thank you guys. And see you on the next live. Thank you.